Yeah, those duals.
Why are they spreading?
Oh yeah. So these nuts are literally coming off. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking this 2019 Kubota L6060 and doing some drainage work with it. We've got the manure pit that we dug out yesterday. We had to go pretty low to get rid of all the muck that was in there. It's been kind of neglected for a while. So we're going to be backfilling with a bunch of drainage stone, putting in some fabric, and then re-top dressing with sand in hopes to try to get this draining a little bit better and not such a mucky mess. Let's get into it. So yesterday we had this tractor out and we ended up hauling off about 350 yards of manure between manure and dirt prepping for today's project. And today we're going to be moving stone. I'm anticipating about 50 yards of stone. So this load here should be about 8 yards in that dump trailer. And I'm going to spread this out. We've got a triaxle coming with some bigger stuff to help put down on the bottom, and we're going to get this pit kind of all back up to close to level, and then we're going to put some fabric down. After the fabric, we're going to bring in some sand and layer that in and pack it in hopes to try to prevent this from continuing to happen. So right now I'm just starting to work this stone over. It was kind of, with the angle that everything's at right now, we couldn't get the dump trailer into there close enough to keep it away from the barn. So this is as close as we could get it while still being on flat ground for dumping. This thing works pretty well like a little dozer. This machine's not a dozer, but it's doing very well. I mean, it's pushing over the stone just like I'm wanting it to. For a machine of its size, it's doing well. And down here on the left-hand side of the frame, kind of where the tractor's pointing right now, we've got a drainage line. So we're going to try to get water to collect down into this area here, just on the right side of this tractor. And then hopefully the drainage line will pick it up and get it out of here and out to the field, and ultimately there's a pond out back for it to go to. But because of the angle that we're at here, we can't get the 10-wheeler down in there. So I'm going to try to push this stone or bring this stone down, kind of favor the left-hand side and almost flatten it out a little bit, if not for just being able to get the 10-wheeler in there. So if you didn't watch the last video we posted about using this machine to haul the manure, it's a 2019 Kubota L6060. It's got 331 hours on it. We borrowed this machine just to test it out. So we're here doing this because we need to, but we're using this tractor for you guys. And maybe if you're looking at L6060 and you're wondering if it'll do what you're looking to do, maybe this video will help you make the decision. Maybe the last video will help you make that decision. Yesterday was a really high-paced environment. Always had a trailer sitting there. We had a lot of stuff to do, and quite honestly, not a whole lot of time to do it. At least so we thought. We started at sunrise, and we finished maybe an hour before sunset. So it was a full day's work. Today it's going to be a little bit slower pace. I've got to wait for loads of stone to be trucked in, and I'm not loading 3 trailers going out. So our next load of stone is here. I was expecting the triaxle next, which is what we really want to be putting down and underneath this on the bottom. But it's still not here, so we're going to jump out and talk to him and see if he wants to go ahead and dump so we can head back for another, or if he wants to wait for the triaxle. But we're going to be definitely dumping the next one down in here, not up top like we did last time, now that I've got it a bit flatter. So I'm just kind of leveling off the top of it right now. So you can back right down into there and dump. Oh, triaxle's here. Yeah! Him first! Get the bigger stone as low as possible. I know! He wanted to back in even though the triaxle was here. He's on a schedule of time, and I get that, but I'd rather him dump up higher and leave me room to knock around that triaxle load. I want that bigger stone down lower if possible. I figured I got a bunch of cameras for my business for making commercials and, you know, product stuff, like product commercials and promotional stuff. I'm like, well, I might as well record all the fun shit too. Now if we could just get him to drive back and forth 10 times to pack all this down. Except dirty and smaller. Good on my end. Like I said earlier, this is supposed to be a thicker material. It's a cardinal sin in the tractor community to do this maneuver right here. I don't know why. I know people bend their loader arms, but that's a maneuver that I've been doing forever. Never had any kind of issues. I guess you just need to know your limitations. Almost all tractors have a float feature, and you've got the loader joystick right here. If you push this all the way forward, it'll lock, and that's a useful feature. What it'll do is it'll kind of put your bucket into what they call float mode, so it'll just float along the ground. And it's really useful when back dragging. It's not something that I use all of the time, so I'm going to use it on this pass here. And you'll see as I back up. So it's going to work pretty well in this scenario because my tires are kind of where I want grade to be, but there's a bit of a hump in between my tires. So I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to have my bucket curled back some, so I'm using the back side of the bucket to pull backwards and push down. And you'll see that it kind of travels along, and that boom is going to flow up and down as it thinks it needs to maintain about the same amount of down pressure. It's a useful feature, but it's not always what you're looking to do. Sometimes you don't have as much control over the actual grade that you're putting out with float because it is somewhat following it up and down. So sometimes it works really well and sometimes it doesn't. And it's one of those things you'll just have to play with it and see when it's going to work for you and when it's not. What do we think as far as grade goes?
We still need to, I mean, the sand's going to help come up.
It is, yeah.
But I think as far as like where we're driving, this looks like it packed in good.
Yeah, I drove back and forth in this, and this packed in good.
I would take this stuff from here out.
I almost think I need to get this. I think I need to get this back into here.
The stone?
The bigger, bony stuff right here.
No, because that holds water, so we want it to stay, we want to give it drainage.
Okay.
So I would leave that, I would coat from here out with this stuff.
So are we going to leave this bare stone and not do soil over the top?
No, I think we will. I mean, we still got to cover the paper.
Well, if we only paper in here, then we only have to cover in here.
Well, we need to make sure, like if we bring this up the last foot with sand.
We should have a pretty heavy buffer.
No, which I get, but you're still going to have to fill the taper in somewhere. Otherwise, every time we come in to scoop to load out, we're going to be coming up a lip.
I don't know. I'm nervous about putting paper out here and them getting into the paper. But
if we solve the water problem, they shouldn't be.
We're going to be spreading out this crushed stone that he just brought back. It's a little bit smaller. It's going to lock in a little bit better. So we're going to be spreading this out across the top. I figure this dynamic will work well because I'm mic'd up and you're mic'd up. And if we're on the phone, then they can hear both sides of the conversation. Right now I'm trying to work this pile further in so I can work it back. There we go. Yeah, I think one more load of this crushed stone. I think I'll spread out this load in there, and then we can do a load out here, kind of where I'm at. What do you think? So we got the stone in here and kind of leveled out. And what we need to do is, starting up here, we need to get this all to drain down here into this stone. Well, from over there, right about there, down to here is a culvert pipe. But it's not perforated, which means we can't just funnel the water directly to there. So we need to kind of funnel everything down towards basically right where the tractor's sitting. So that's going to be our low point. So that's what we're going to do now. I guess down below in the comments, let me know what you think. I mean, is this video, how does it compare to the other video? Do we think that we need all of those extra camera angles, or can you kind of determine what this machine's capable of with the angles that we've been showing you throughout this video? Let me know. I'm interested to see what you think, and I like feedback, even constructive criticism. I had him dump this pile on the high side because I really wanted to be able to work this pile down the hill rather than try to work it back up the hill. It's just gonna make it easier on the machine. And since I don't have a skid steer, I'm not sitting in a track skid steer where I've got all kinds of pushing power and I can manipulate things really, really well. And we are using this tractor. I like to I'm not sitting inside of a track skid steer and I don't have that pushing power and that really nice manipulation that you do with a machine like that, I'm going to make it as easy on myself in the machine as I can. There's still a certain amount of efficiency that I'm trying to maintain here. What do you think? Is this tractor big enough for the projects that you want to do? When's the last time you retorqued these duals?
I don't know. Why are they spreading?
Oh yeah.
You put them on. Yep,
Yeah.
Right off.
There's your noise.
Well, you can't do anything about it loaded, so.
No, you're right. We can't do anything about it loaded.
Can't believe it's not wobbling.
It is.
Well, at the moment, but not on the road.
That's crazy. Can we? We'll just put it right there. That's fine. We don't need to go any further back. I want to be able to control the sand onto there anyways.
You gonna try to push it on the paper?
I'm gonna carry it and lay it down and sprinkle it on. That's the whole point of I'm gonna carry it.
I'm leaning way too far to dump there.
I mean, I'd rather you pull ahead and dump than back up. Yeah, those duals, I can't believe they're not breaking. Wow. Okay. Say that again? Yeah. I've got 40 minutes until you get back. We've already got one broken stud. So these nuts are literally coming off. All right, so I'm gonna run over to the shop quick and grab an impact.
Well, what's crazy, so those are the only tires I can see in my mirrors. And I've been very vigorously watching because I knew something was wrong. Like, that sounds so abnormal.
Yeah.
That does not wander at all going up. Story of my life. I told you it was too sunny this morning.
Go ahead. Yep. You got, go ahead and go back. Yep. Say something.
Yeah, I did. It went to the other side.
Now we have to lay out all the sand on top of here, while trying to make sure that the fabric doesn't get folded. I don't know if it was caught well on camera, but this fabric gave us a hard time. It's also very, very important that you don't hit the fabric with the cutting edge of your bucket when pushing like that. Some kind of dozering. Very important. Most of the time you can drive on the fabric itself. You really just don't want to turn. It's really cannot turn on the skid steer, but if you can prevent turning with a tractor, most of the time you're really not going to damage the fabric. Don't be too nervous to drive on it. As long as you've got a relatively flat base and you don't have any massive holes where you're going to overstretch the fabric. If you try to overstretch it and it's tight on all sides and it tries to pull down, then you can rip it there. But we've got a pretty good base of stone in here, so I'm not too concerned about that. If the compaction you're doing is really important, you can be spraying water out onto it as you're putting it out as well, and that's going to help compact it more, getting that moisture in there. And then, believe it or not, letting it get hit by rain. I mean, rain plays a huge factor in compaction. You wouldn't think about it, but just the raindrops just hitting it over and over and over again, and the water making their way in there and everything kind of settling together, that causes an incredible amount of compaction. This is a 26,000 GBWR trailer. This is the amount of compaction we were able to get. Now we're on top of about 8 inches of sand here. So this is the amount of compaction we were able to get with just driving back and forth with the tractor. That's pretty good, because this trailer is not light. With, what did he figure this stuff weighed? Did he say? About 2,500 pounds a yard, and there's payloader operator says 8 yards. So
it's more than 8 yards.
It's definitely more than 8 yards.
He is keeping the crap out of this bucket.
It's a 4-yard bucket, water level, and he's got it heaped.
Negative.
So I need help lift this, because the trailer that's rated for 26,000 pounds, granted trailer weight's included in that, can't dump it. All off of driving back and forth compaction with a tractor. If you're wondering why it felt heavy. Yeah. That is a lot of material. This stuff has got this little fine stone in it, which makes it pack in really, really nice. check this out. There's not a whole lot more we can do here. Everything is pitched to the left and down this way. And this culvert pipe, it's not perforated, so we can't expect water to actually enter up here. But the culvert pipe ends out here. So everything is now pitched down this way. It was all mud. Now it's got a good layer of base stone underneath it. I'm gonna let this sit for a couple days and compact it some more and grade it off one more time. And that's gonna be the end of this project.